You can see me. You are now running wild with the most underrated wrestling podcast in the world, WellsMania Podcast. I am your host, the Kyle Wells, aka WellsMania. Thank you all so much for taking the time out of your busy day to run wild with me right here on episode 187 of WellsMania Podcast. And yes, I've got the OG spinner belt because I'm not alone on this episode. Joining me is my very special co-host. He is Stone Payne Productions. What's up, Payton? How you doing, brother?
I am doing good. Exhausted from this past weekend, but we are here. We are ready to roll.
Yes, and that is the main reason why I wanted to have you on for this episode, because you and we took a nice little road trip next door to the state of Illinois to Chicago for Fan Expo Chicago, where you and I both did a meet and greet with John Cena. And I wanted to show this off because I got John Cena to autograph the OG spinner belt. Payton, this has been a long time coming, brother, because I used to cosplay back in the day as John Cena, and I would carry this spinner belt around with me everywhere. This thing has been to WrestleManias, Raws, SmackDowns, other conventions, and now John Cena held this spinner belt in our pro photo op, which, by the way, I'm going to show off mine right here. Yeah, right there. John Cena and WellsMania running wild for the pro photo op. I am still on cloud nine, and I'll dive more into the interaction. But Payton, how was the Fan Expo Chicago? I'm still recovering from my voice too, man, because I was yelling. I was making a lot of TikTok content. Still recovering from Fan Expo Chicago. How was the experience for you, brother?
I had a great time. You know me, I love going to Comic Cons of all varieties. I am a nerd at heart, so my nerd heart was very, very happy. Big mix of both of my favorite types of people, pro wrestling and Star Wars. So I was right at home in the middle of both of those communities. And the best part about going to things like Comic Cons and such like that is the people that go to those events are real fans. They're not the toxic, IWC or online Star Wars people that just sit and bitch and complain from behind their Twitter handle. If you take the time to go to these, you're real fans that actually love the thing you're going to celebrate. So if you ever want to meet true fans of wrestling, Star Wars, anything like that, go to Comic Cons. They're always a good time.
Yeah, because I would say that there was roughly, and this might be an under exaggeration on how many people were there, but man, there were probably about 10,000 people there.
Yeah, there were a lot of people.
And half of them were there for John Cena. Like, I have never seen so many spinner belts in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
Because everywhere you looked, there was a John Cena fan with a spinner belt either over his shoulder or around his waist, and around her waist or over her shoulder. I mean, there were so many different walks of life, people of all ages, all united there because of one man, John Cena, the never seen 17, the greatest of all time. And Payton, I know you got an opportunity to do a pro photo op with John Cena. How did that pro photo op go? What did you say to John Cena when you walked up to him?
My interaction with John was very, very quick. It wasn't probably like yours. It was walk up, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Handshake. Oh, thanks for the pic. And then that was it.
Oh, wow.
There really wasn't a big story to tell with the John Cena. And I have no shame in admitting it. You know better than anybody. John Cena's never been my favorite. I was very much on the side of the Cena sucks chants growing up. But I still respect John. I still respect everything he's done for the business. And to be able to get a picture with one of the biggest names in pro wrestling history was very cool, especially in his last year. So he was nice, though. He was, very respectful, quick interaction. And, another thing, a lot of those interactions are made to be quick because there's so many people coming in and out wanting to get their pictures and their autographs. If everybody took all the time they wanted, I mean, it would be hell. No one would ever get through the lines.
Yeah.
But,
Because you and I, we got there super early because I wanted us to get there super early, and we get there early, and it just is so. I didn't know this, but apparently Wizard World turned into Fan Expo Chicago. I did not know that Fan Expo is the evolution of Wizard World. So I found that because someone asked me, they go, is this your first Fan Expo? And I said, yes, it is. Technically it was my first Fan Expo, but I had been to several Wizard Worlds beforehand. As a matter of fact, that was the last time that I saw John Cena, was at Wizard World in Chicago in 2016. So here we are, 9 years later, back at it. And I was really, really, really hyped and excited for both of us to go to Fan Expo Chicago, because me, more of the John Cena guy, but you got to meet a legendary Star Wars character, and we'll get into that here in just a second. But one of the really cool things about this convention is all the different cosplays that were there.
Yeah.
Like, holy hell, man.
Yeah.
And when I was waiting in line for the photo op with John Cena, I took that as an opportunity to get on my TikTok, WellsMania, which, by the way, I hit 10K. I know we didn't get a chance to talk about that last week, but I did officially hit that 10K milestone. And you're next, to quote Goldberg, Payton. You are on the road to 10K, so you will get there hopefully soon.
Hopefully.
But I hit the 10K mark, and it was so surreal because more people recognized me at this Fan Expo Chicago from TikTok. So we're doing something right, man. When people come up to us and they
Still
recognize
a great feeling.
us, it
Still
is
a great feeling.
It never gets old. And they wanted their pictures with me, and they wanted to, just chit chat and talk, and it never gets old. It's very surreal, and I appreciate it each and every single time. I can only imagine how John Cena felt, because he had thousands of people there, and I only had maybe a handful of people who recognized me. But as I'm standing there in the line, I just look over and I see a cosplay of a guy dressed up as Carmelo Hayes. And dude, I had to double take, because this guy looked just like Carmelo Hayes. And he follows me on WellsMania Facebook. Shout out to Alan. Alan, it was nice meeting you. Thank you for taking the time to do a TikTok video with me. And the girl that was there, the little girl, she was dressed up as Chelsea Green. I mean, those two had some really cool cosplays. So it was nice to see different wrestling characters there. Of course, there were a lot of people dressed up like John Cena, but it was kind of cool to see other cosplays of different WWE superstars. Did you get a chance to see that TikTok of my interview with Carmelo Hayes?
I did, and it was a good interview. There were a lot of cool cosplays there. I got to interview a couple people on actual live. Like, I think it was while you were waiting for your Cena meet and greet, the picture, I was doing some laps in the main hall, and I was on TikTok, and I got to interview the guy that was walking around in the Hulk Hogan cosplay. I know you saw him.
Wow. Yeah,
So,
that was a really good Hulk Hogan cosplay.
Yeah.
He had the American flag and everything.
Yeah, and then obviously, me being the Star Wars fan I am, I interviewed a couple of the Star Wars cosplayers and stuff. But I love seeing people do their cosplays. I love seeing the people that put the effort into them. I've never cosplayed. You've cosplayed as John Cena a couple times, but
yeah, more than a couple.
Yeah.
I had a nice run where I would cosplay as Cena from like 2009 to like 2012. I used to cosplay as John Cena, and people would really think that I was him. Now, when I say people, I mean like little kids. They used to come up to me, and this is back when I didn't have the beard. This is back when I used to be, in bigger shape than I am now. But that's the thing, man. And John Cena is always teaching us valuable lessons, is to control the controllable and embrace aging, and don't be afraid to lean into it. So John Cena, man, he still inspires me after all these years, and I'll talk about my interaction with him because it was another really just genuine interaction with him. But I want to hear your interaction with the Star Wars legend. Yeah. Who did you meet, and how did that interaction go? I'll let you tee it up there, or I tee it up. You slam it down.
So in case you didn't know, my two biggest loves are pro wrestling and Star Wars. And obviously this expo had the opportunity for me to do two big things, John Cena, one of them. And then also I had the opportunity to meet Ewan McGregor, who is Obi-Wan Kenobi, especially from my era of Obi-Wan Kenobi, the prequels, which is what I grew up on. I've met Hayden Christensen before. I've met Anakin. So I was like, the opportunity's right here to meet Obi-Wan. I got to take it. I got to do this. And, oh my God, I was like a little kid in a candy store, being in line, being so giddy, and then going into it. I'm sure the famous "Hello there,"
yes,
the line,
his famous catchphrase.
In my head, I was thinking, like, how cool would it be if, like, I came around the corner and, like, that's what he did, like, that's how he greeted people.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. So
come around
the corner, and it wasn't like as character-esque, but it still was like a hello there. And I melted. I literally was like, dude, I was hoping you were going to do that. And he just laughed. And then, quick interaction of, thank you. Grew up watching these movies. Your character and all this has been such a big part of my life. And, he said thank you and stuff. And then got the picture, which you can see on my socials. But it was such a great time. I had your excitedness to meet John Cena was the same level as me meeting Ewan McGregor. So it was worth every penny at the end.
I'm just really glad that you had a very positive interaction with him, and he was super, super cool back to you, because, man, you always get so excited to meet these people who you look up to, and you just always hope that the interaction is everything you could ever want it to be and more. And I'm glad that yours with Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he hits you with the hello there.
Yeah.
Like, that right there is the cherry on the top.
Well, some people say never meet your heroes, and unfortunately sometimes that is true. You'll get disappointed, but then there are other times where it exceeds the expectations, and you're like, oh, that's exactly how I thought they were going to be. And you can tell the people that are truly appreciative of the fans, because like guys like Cena and Ewan McGregor, and they're there all day long, meeting thousands of people, shaking thousands of hands, doing thousands of autographs and stuff. It could get very tiresome. And for those guys, it would be really easy to just put on a blank face and be like, all right, yeah, keep going. All right, yeah, keep going.
Right.
But the guys that Like I guarantee you, Ewan McGregor said hello there probably 4,000 or 5,000 times that day. He probably did it to
Never
every
gets
single
old
person,
though.
but to do that with everybody, because that will mean so much to every single person who's coming up to you, because you're the reason they're there and you're giving them that moment. That just tells you the type of people that they are. Same thing with John Cena. Now, while my interaction with Cena was a little more just like, hey, thanks for everything you do, the handshake and move on, there's a lot of people and a lot of kids and stuff like you that
kids like me.
Yeah, kids like you with the kid mentality.
Yeah, I see what you did there. No, man, you're not wrong though. It's always very above and beyond when the people you are meeting actually make you feel like they care. Yes. And with John Cena, this was the fourth time that I had an up close and personal interaction with him. So I had already met him before. Obviously, I've told the PBR story numerous times on this podcast. But it never gets old, man. And especially this year, this is John Cena's farewell tour. So I don't know how many more opportunities I'm going to personally get this opportunity to look in his eyes, shake his hand, and tell him thank you. And then so much more. Because the last time I saw him was 2016. So it had been 9 years since I had this opportunity. So that's why I always tell people, do not hesitate. If you have an opportunity to meet somebody that you look up to or that you're a fan of, go do it. Don't make any excuses, because you don't want to look back and be like, man, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have met that person. Don't be like that. Just go and get those memories, and that way you'll have them forever. Now, I did want to shout out real quick BJS Figs from TikTok. I ran into him, did a video with him. Shout out to James from the People's Podcast. You and I ran into him. He was very excited. We met him and his co-host Alex at the Squared Circle Expo earlier this year in Indy. So it was really cool that he came up to us. And did you see the tweet that he put out on his Twitter account? Super nice. Very appreciative of you and I. And no, James, we are very appreciative of you. So thank you for the kind words, and thank you for making Payton and I feel like a bigger deal than we truly are. But when it comes to standing in line, man, it was just so cool being around so many John Cena fans. And shout out to all the people that I met in line who followed me back on TikTok. Y'all are the real ones. I appreciate that. And now you get to enjoy the journey that is running wild with WellsMania. But Payton, when I got to go through the curtain, when I got to see John Cena sitting there autographing the autographs, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my God, it never gets old getting this close to John Cena. It's like that meeting him for the first time all over again feeling. And you know that feeling that I'm talking about. So I get up to him, and his handlers are sliding the belt down, and I just looked at him, and he shook my hand and he said, "Thank you for being here." And I said, "No, thank you for being here." And this has been a long time coming, having you sign this spinner belt. I used to cosplay as you. So it's very full circle that you held it in our pro photo op, and now you're signing it. And I'm actually going to pass this down one day to my son, who will be here in October. My wife and I are expecting our first child. And John stopped what he was doing, and he looked at me, shook my hand again, and he said, "Oh, congratulations to you and your wife. You are going to make a great father." He didn't have to say that, but the fact that he did, it really got me, man. It started hitting me in the heartstrings. And then I asked him, I said, "Would it be okay if you did a video where you introduced my son to the world?" And he said, "Absolutely. Let's do it right now." And I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, damn, could you get any nicer? Like, could you be more genuine of a good dude? So there he was looking in my camera, and I felt like a director. I pointed at him, and then he cut the promo for my son. And
Yeah.
once my son is here, my son is due in October. I will upload that video for the whole world to see. So, because what John Cena says in that video, it only makes sense to post it the day my son is born. So I know people will be patiently waiting for that video, but honestly, we don't have a lot of time left, Payton. Only a couple more months until my son is here. But I just wanted to say thank you to John Cena for just being just the best, man. He's the GOAT for a reason. He makes me feel special every single time that I have an interaction with him. And I was telling my dad this on the phone because my dad called me and he asked me how it went. And I said, John Cena, man, I know he interacts with, millions of people, but he always makes you feel special with that one-on-one interaction.
Yeah.
And he always makes it feel personable. He
Well,
makes it feel so real.
But you also, like, there are certain people and certain interactions that stars have that it's kind of one of a kind, like, I guarantee you're the only person that entire day he did a video for their unborn child. So that one,
There's a good possibility.
that one stood out. It's and those are the ones that they remember. Like, it very similar to me getting choked out by Karrion Kross. The next time I met him, he immediately knew who I was.
He remembered you.
Exactly. John probably will, like, oh yeah, the guy that I did the video for his baby. Those are the interactions that are truly special.
Absolutely. Now, I got asked this a lot from people who listen to the podcast and follow us on social media and people who know me personally. They all asked, did you bring up that you drank a PBR with them? Yes, I did. I said that it had been a long time ago. You probably don't remember, but we drank a PBR in Indianapolis. And he looked up at me, kind of like looked at me, and he smirked and he said, yeah, that was a long time ago. What a wild night that was. Now, granted, he could have been, making it up on the fly.
That sounds like a very generic answer, if I'm being honest. But,
But what did it in was the smirk.
Yeah.
It was the smirk that kind of like, yeah, I do remember you. That, to me, that's how I took it. But take it how you will. Some people don't even think that night happened, but it did. I mean, that
you have
night,
a picture to prove it, so it happened.
That night truly happened, and how can I make something up like that? Like,
now, if you didn't have a photo to prove it, I could see where some people would be like, but you have the proof. So
yeah. And I know for a split second in John Cena's mind, he was racking through his memory trying to remember that interaction. Because you got to think, man, John Cena has done a lot since 2012. And but yeah, the John Cena interaction was everything I could have asked for and more. Getting an updated picture with him. Who knows? This could be the last pick I get with Cena for quite some time.
Well, who knows? Maybe in 6 or 7 years, you'll be able to do another pick with your kid with him.
Yes. And that's another thing that I was telling my old man on the phone was, if everything times out the way that we think it is going to time out, the next time that WrestleMania does return to Indianapolis, it should be roughly around the time that my son is 5 years old. Mm-hmm. So if we're thinking that WrestleMania 48 is going to be when WrestleMania returns to Indianapolis, my son will be the same age that I was when my dad took me to WrestleMania 8 back in 1992. So full circle moment, I told my dad, I said, it's going to be you, me, and your grandson, my son, going to WrestleMania when it is here in Indianapolis. Now, of course, John Cena will have already been in the Hall of Fame by then. But at that point, you got to think John will probably be doing more meet and greet appearances So yes, Peyton, the long term, we always talk about The Rock telling long term,
Long gamer.
long term storytelling here. So when I released the video of John Cena introducing my son into the world on his birthday, the plan is to have him meet John Cena somewhere down the road and to show Cena that video, be like, remember when you cut this at Fan Expo Chicago in 2025? Well, here's my little boy. Here's my son. He's however old he is at that time. So man, it got me too. Like, cause you remember I was almost in tears
You look
when
like you were sweating so bad. You look like you had just stepped out of a shower. I was like, "Are you good?"
it just was a wave of emotions, man. Well, first of all, standing in that line with all those other John Cena fans, it got hot real fast.
Yeah.
And we're all, packed in, and I'm not even wearing sleeves, and I'm still sweating. And I think it was also my nerves. Now, I don't get nervous. I get more anxious than nervous. So
Mhm.
seeing John Cena again, it just kind of got me all little flustered because it's my
As it happens.
yeah, man. I mean, that's outside of my mom and dad. That is my biggest hero. That
I
is my
mean,
biggest inspiration is John Cena.
anxious. People always get anxious when they're in line to meet somebody that they want to meet. I mean, I was anxious waiting to meet Ewan McGregor. So that's just a part of it.
Yeah, yeah, but that is a part of the whole experience is you will never forget how you felt those days that you met the people that you really want to meet.
Oh yeah.
So,
And always,
y-
like you said earlier, always do it because you never know what could happen. Like looking back on it now, I am so happy and it was worth every single cent when I went and met Hulk Hogan in 2023. Or I'm sorry,
yes.
yeah, at the beginning of 2024. So um always take advantage of it because you never know when the last moment you get the chance to meet these people could be.
Yeah. And I tell this story all the time. He's right there behind me. Hot Rod, Rowdy Roddy Piper. I had an opportunity to meet Rowdy Roddy Piper in Indianapolis, and I worked a very long shift at the radio station, and I went home to to take a nap, but I ended up sleeping the entire day away. So by the time I woke up, Piper had already left Indianapolis. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, he died, I think, a couple of months after that appearance at Days of the Dead in Indianapolis. So I will never get the opportunity to meet Rowdy Roddy Piper because unfortunately he's no longer with us. And I did get Bret the Hitman Hart to sign this poster, but man, if Piper were still alive today, it would be so cool to meet him and get him to sign that poster. But unfortunately, I'm never going to get that opportunity. So that's why I can't express it enough. I know, trust me, I know, I know things are expensive, but it's always worth it. And the memories will last a lifetime.
Yeah.
And
Money comes and goes, memories last forever. So,
yes, and like you said with Hulk Hogan, man, it was in the very building that you and I were at this past weekend in Chicago, where my wife and she got to meet Hulk Hogan. And this was the second time that I got to do a meet and greet with him. And I'm standing there in the John Cena line, and somebody had said something about, yeah, Hulk Hogan was way over there doing meet and greets last year. And I was like, I know, I was way over there doing a meet and greet with him, brother. So it's just crazy, man. You just never know when your time is up on this planet. So you've really, really got to take advantage of every opportunity that you get on this earth while you're here. So
Mhm.
yeah, man, Fan Expo Chicago was a great experience. I'm glad that you and I went and had a great time. It was hell, man. It was chaotic in there. And
It was.
never did run into Wheezy Blonde, friend of the WellsMania
You
podcast,
know,
Wheezy Blonde,
I'm convinced that she doesn't actually exist, that she's just like
AI.
a fake AI entity because every time we're ever at the same place as her, she's like a ghost. You cannot find her anywhere.
I tweeted this at her the other day. I said, I'm playing a new game called Where's Wheezy, kind of like Where's Waldo. And whoever can find Wheezy obviously wins the game. But you and I, man, we even walked around trying to find her, and we couldn't. We saw Chevy Chase, we saw Randy Quaid, we saw Jackson Rathbone, we saw Bob West, the dude that was what he voiced or played Barney.
Yeah.
And we saw a ton of other celebrities that were there, but we never saw Wheezy Blonde. So if you ever go to a convention or a WWE show where Wheezy Blonde is supposed to be, play this brand new game called Where's Wheezy? And when you find her, take a picture with her and tag at WellsMania with the hashtag Where's Wheezy. I'm gonna tell her this too after this episode. I'm gonna be like, hey, why are all these people coming up to me and saying where's Wheezy? So I'm gonna remind her of the game that I was playing, trying to find her in Fan Expo Chicago. But no, man, I had a great time. I love doing that kind of stuff with you because it's always an adventure. It's always an experience. And I look forward to, I don't know, man. I don't know when the next time I will be able to go to something like that, because once my son is here, I'm going to be in full dad mode until my wife says, get the hell out of here. I need some space.
See, but here's what you got to remember. That's where grandparents come in every once in a while.
Yes.
That's where you're like, hey, can grandma and grandpa watch him for a day so I could go and have a break?
Yeah. Because on the car ride home, you had said something, you got to go to John Cena's last match in December. And
you have to.
I would love to be there at John Cena's last match. I'm not ruling that out. Like, once we get more details on, we all speculate that it's going to be in Boston because that's Cena's home state, Massachusetts. So we still got some time, man. We still got a few months here to see what John Cena's last match at his last show is going to be. But that's a good segue into the next time that you and I will get a chance to see John Cena wrestle again live in person, because Payton, there have been rumblings, there have been rumors, and I can tell you that it is going to happen on Saturday, September 20th. Live from Indianapolis, Indiana, WWE will be returning for another PLE. My source, who I cannot name, he did text me last week and he confirmed with me that WWE confirmed with him that they are coming back to Indianapolis on September 20th for another WWE PLE. So Payton, dude, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, every social media outlet has been running wild with this news, where it was possibly going to be Bad Blood, or it was possibly going to be Over the Limit. But now the PLE name,
they're bringing back an old classic from
the 90s.
And it's funny because I saw a lot of people being like, "Oh, this is what a dumb name for a PLE," and I'm like, "No, this is where like the true wrestling knowledge of being a historian comes into play," because I saw it and I was like, "No way, they're bringing back an ECW pay-per-view." The rumor is not confirmed.
Say it, Payton. Say it.
WrestlePalooza.
WrestlePalooza.
That is so cool if that's what they're bringing back. Because we've brought back a lot of old WCW events. We've never really brought back an old ECW event. So for them to bring back an old ECW PLE on a whim like this is kind of a surprise added date, because this was not on John Cena's dates. This would be an added date.
Yeah, because John Cena has already wrestled in Indianapolis on his farewell tour when he
Yeah.
was a participant in the Royal Rumble. So now getting this PLE that is rumored to be WrestlePalooza, and the match that is rumored to be on this card is a last man standing match between John Cena and Brock Lesnar. So,
Which, my God, what a main event that would be for Indy. If that's the
yes.
Lesnar Cena one final time in Indianapolis, I mean, you talk about a main event.
Yeah, because we all know that, at the end of this month, we are going to get John Cena versus Logan Paul at Clash in Paris.
Yep.
Cena is more than likely going to beat Logan Paul. So then he's going to turn his attention to Brock Lesnar, which we thought that would be his next opponent after what happened at SummerSlam, but they put the John Cena Logan Paul match in between. So saving it for WrestlePalooza in a last man standing match, I can't wait for that to be confirmed because Payton, I can't remember. I honestly can't remember the last time that a city hosted two PLEs in the same year.
I
I mean,
remember, well, you and I talked about it because I asked you that. I was like, if I'm wrong, tell me. But I don't think it's ever happened before. I don't think there's unless like maybe way back, like in the early 90s or the 80s or something, like New York held two major events. But I don't recall a city holding two PLEs in the same calendar year ever.
no. And the only thing that I can think of is maybe like Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Other than Saudi. Let's
But
in the United States,
yeah, in the United States, man, I cannot for the life of me think of when this has happened before. I think Indianapolis might be the first city to host two PLEs in the same year.
yeah.
So the fact of the matter is, I mean, WWE and TKO Group can literally do whatever they want. And I know that John Cena has already wrestled in Indianapolis at the Royal Rumble, but technically that wasn't a one-on-one match. So there are some ways to go around this being, his last appearance. Not yet, not quite. And I'm already thinking, since we got Colts colors at the Rumble for the John Cena Farewell Tour merch, we got to get blue and gold. We got to get Pacers colors for John Cena's second farewell tour appearance in Indianapolis at WrestlePalooza. But man,
Now there's also rumors that this is going to be on ESPN.
yes, which leads me to think tomorrow, August 21st, ESPN is launching this new ESPN app that if you don't have ESPN in your current cable provider, or wherever you watch your shows and stuff, you're going to have to buy this app to watch WWE PLEs next year in 2026. And that also got me thinking, Payton, that would be a really good time for WWE to break this news of the PLE that will be happening in Indianapolis and possibly even launching it on this new app. So that way people can get a taste of what they can expect for 2026. Because it also kind of makes me think, is this the reason why they added a PLE to test out this new ESPN app? I mean, that's kind of where my thinking goes.
Yeah.
Because like you said earlier, they kind of just threw it out of nowhere. We were not expecting a PLE in Indianapolis in September, and then all of a sudden here we are. So I wonder if that's like the main push and the main reason why WWE is doing this is because the partnership with ESPN, and they're like, Triple H is just like, hold on a second, Payton. Got me some readers here. Now keep in mind, I don't do readers. So But we are, Payton. We are coming back to Indianapolis, Indiana for WrestlePalooza, where it will be John Cena versus Brock Lesnar in Indianapolis, Indiana. So, Payton, my question for you is, are you ready? I said, are you ready? I think I just popped the mic there, but
I am always ready to go back to a PLE. You know me. I'm ready to splurge.
yeah, because this'll be, how many PLEs will this be for you in 2025?
So let me just count them down here. So in this year alone, I've already shattered my record for most PLEs this year. The Royal Rumble, Backlash, Battleground, Money in the Bank, the Great American Bash, and
He's still going.
Goldberg's last match, Saturday night's main event. So this will be 7. WrestlePalooza would be 7.
Which is absolutely incredible. That is an
Yeah.
incredible stat to have. And I'm a little behind you. I've only been to 3 this year. I was hoping to go to SummerSlam. I was so close to going to SummerSlam, but I didn't reach the goal that I wanted to reach before SummerSlam. So WrestlePalooza in Indianapolis will be 4 for me in the same year, which is still a pretty big number for me.
What's your record?
I think that might be my record. I think 4 in the same year might be my record. But yeah, I was also at the Royal Rumble here in Indianapolis. I went out to Las Vegas, got married, and then went to WrestleMania 41, and then went with you to St. Louis for Backlash. So those are the only 3 that I have been to this year in 2025. So WrestlePalooza will potentially be 4, if that is what the PLE is going to be called. And possibly, if I do end up going to John Cena's last match,
if it's a PLE,
that'll be 5 in the same year.
I mean, so I would hope that it's not going to be on a Raw or a SmackDown. I would hope that they actually make it on some special event.
It's gotta be, man. Like, you're sending off the greatest of all time. He can't just ride off on a Raw or a SmackDown. I mean, it's gotta be a PLE in December, because Saturday night's main event, it still doesn't feel like a good place to send
Saturday night main event. Technically, I mean, it is a premium live event, but it still doesn't feel like the right stage for it, you know? So
and Saturday night's main event falls into like its own category.
It's like a C-level PLE. It's
not quite a PLE, but it's not quite a SmackDown or a Raw. It's like somewhere in the middle, like whatever you classify those shows as.
I classify it like there's 3 levels of it. There's A level, which would be like the big 4, B level, which would be the other PLEs throughout the year, the Backlashes, the WrestlePaloozas, all that stuff. Then you got the C level PLEs, which would be maybe the NXT premium live events and like Saturday night's main events.
That's a good tier. That's a good tier classification for the shows. But yeah, man, I'm excited for whatever this WWE PLE will be. We should be finding out very soon.
We better, because tickets need to go on sale.
Yeah, they do.
It's a month out.
And the good thing about it is it's in our backyard. So you and I are going to be able to splurge a little bit more on nicer seats, because we don't have to fly. We don't have to get lodging. We can literally just drive to downtown Indianapolis from where we are, and then there it is.
Yeah,
that's the beauty. I love when a PLE is in your home city, because it's like, well, I've got no excuse but to drop a lot of money on a ticket to go, because I'm not spending a lot of money on other things. So
yeah.
But yeah, man, we'll keep you guys up to date. Be sure to follow Stone Payne Productions on TikTok. Be sure to follow WellsMania on TikTok. We will break that news to you as soon as we get it. But Payton, we did get some pretty big news this past Monday night on Raw, Naomi and Jimmy Uso are pregnant. That's right. Proceed with caution. There's a baby on board. Congratulations to Naomi and Jimmy Uso. What a great year. What a great year to get pregnant. My wife and I are pregnant. She's due in October. So now Jimmy and Naomi are also pregnant. And I think I saw that she's maybe 7 or 8 weeks pregnant. So she won't be having that baby until next year. But still, man, the bloodline keeps growing. Payton, what are your thoughts on Naomi and Big Jim getting pregnant? And Naomi had to drop the WWE Women's World title. So what do you think about that as well?
It's unfortunate she had to drop the championship. I mean, but hey, if you're going to drop the championship, it's better to drop it under circumstances like these that are still positive than something like an injury that nobody wants to happen. As far as the baby, congratulations to the both of them. I'm sure that kid will end up being a WrestleMania main eventer because he's being born into the Anawai family. So, I mean, all you have to do is be related to that family and you are pretty much guaranteed a spot in the WWE at some point.
Man, I just know that, 20 years from now,
WrestleMania 70, it'll be, Jimmy's kid versus Roman's kid
versus Jacob Fatu's kids. I mean, it's
tribal
nuts.
warfare. Yeah, it'll never end.
Who knows? Maybe my
Uh-oh. We lost him. I'm the host of WellsMania Podcast now, it looks like. So, congratulations to Jimmy and Naomi. Oh, wait, no, he's coming back.
Hey, I have no idea what just happened
I
there.
thought I was the host of the show for a second.
I guess I was getting a little too emotional for Naomi and Big Jim. I don't know what the last thing I said was, but I will say this. Congratulations to Naomi and Jimmy Uso on Baby Uso. Payton, I know I don't know what that was, a little glitch in the matrix right there, but I know we're getting close to the end of this episode of WellsMania Podcast. I didn't get a chance to ask you this. We didn't do an episode last week, took the week off. But what are your thoughts on Karrion Kross, man? I know that's your boy, Karrion Kross, and Scarlett no longer in WWE.
I'm hurt, and it's sad. A lot of people are, it's a work, and I think they're thinking it's a work because we're coming off the Seth Rollins angle. I don't think this is a work. Unfortunately, I do think that this is real. I think that Kross taking other bookings is proof that this is real. I think the way it was, I love the WWE, but I think the way that this was done was very dirty. It doesn't feel right considering how over that man was the last few months, how much merch he has sold for that company, how much the fans wanted him to get pushed. And then for them to turn around and basically give him a shitty deal, if you will. I don't know if you saw his interview, but they gave him some deal the week that his contract was said to expire, but they didn't give Scarlett a deal. The deal was only for him, and he was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't understand why we can't just do the same deal we did the last time. And then when he came back with that, they told him, well, you have 24 hours to accept or the deal will be null and void. And he even mentioned that they had put a communication blocker in between him and Triple H. So he wasn't able to directly communicate with Triple H. He was going through somebody else, which seems very fishy. Just a lot of things around it seem dirty to me. and
Yeah.
it rubbed me, and I know it rubbed me the wrong way. I know it rubbed a lot of other fans the wrong way, considering how much Karrion Kross had been beloved by the fans recently. And all I can really say is, what a massive fumble by the WWE and the creative team to drop the ball on both Kross and Scarlett when they should have been so easy to write for and put in major storylines. And for some reason, they just didn't do it. And now they're gone. And, you know, it's just a massive fumble, in my opinion.
You're not wrong, man. I agree with everything that you just said because, you know, when you look at a WWE superstar, Karrion Kross checks off all of the boxes, all of them.
Yeah.
And Scarlett does as well. I mean, you have so much potential here with shooting Karrion Kross to the moon, and WWE never did that. And it's very unfortunate because I feel like we never got to see Karrion Kross at his full potential on the main roster in WWE. Now, the beauty of this is I feel like Karrion Kross will eventually come back.
I agree.
To WWE. I don't know when, but eventually I feel like, you know, let him go venture off on the indies, let him do his thing. And then eventually the time, and that's another thing too, is I don't feel like the timing was right for Karrion Kross. If you look at all the storylines right now, unfortunately, it's just bad timing. Karrion Kross wasn't going to boot any of the champions out of the way. So give Karrion Kross some time to go, you know, do his thing on the indies and then bring him back when the time is right and then launch him into the main event and put a world title on him because that dude has everything that a world champion needs to have. He's got it.
I have one request, and that's when he comes back, there's got to be a change. He's got to be different. He's got to reshave the head. He's got to come back as
Killer Kross.
He's got to come back as Killer Kross. He's got to come back as that destroyer that ruled NXT. That's what he needs to come back as. And that Karrion Kross can headline WrestleManias.
Absolutely.
So that is the path that needs to be taken.
Well, we wish Karrion Kross nothing but the best. He's going to be fine. The invite is always open for Karrion Kross to run wild on WellsMania Podcast. I know he is taking bookings now, so hopefully we will book Karrion Kross on a future episode of WellsMania Podcast because I know, Payton, you got a lot to ask him. I got a lot to ask him, and I think that episode would be well received by all the viewers out there. Payton, 53 minutes and a glitch into episode 187 of WellsMania Podcast. Is there anything else that you want to talk about before we go home?
I got a couple minutes left and then I got to run, but we can mention real quick that this Sunday, the next episode of WWT Showcase will release. It is I'm going to make a Star Wars pun here. Execute Order 66. Because it is episode 66 of WWT Showcase.
Wow. 66 episodes of Showcase 66. Already.
And it is the second stop on the road to Smash Mouth Slamboree. We know there will be 6 episodes leading up to Smash Mouth Slamboree. This is stop number 2. And it's going to be a big one because it will be the last match that Sam Knight ever has in Wrestle With This, the right hand of God. Sam Knight, friend of both of us, veteran on the indies, is on his retirement tour. He wanted to come to the WWT one final time. So to have Sam Knight's last match in the WWT happen on the road to Slamboree before he calls it quits at the end of the year is an honor for everyone in the WWT. And I'm going to break kayfabe here for a second. It is also an honor for me as I, Stone Payne, was his last opponent, will be his last opponent in the WWT. And, Sam, with all due respect, I know you want to go out on top, but I'm not going to send you out on your shield. I'm going to put you in a body bag, and that's how your career is going to end.
Wow, those are strong words. And I am looking forward to Stone Payne versus Sam Knight this Sunday. Wrestle with this on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. And I can't wait, man. I've been patiently waiting for the next episode on the road to Slamboree 4. And finally, we are getting it this weekend. Payton, I know you got to run, brother. Real quick, plug your social medias, and then I will send you on your way.
Stone Payne Productions on TikTok, Instagram, and X. Make sure you guys go support the TikTok big time. He already made it to 10K. I am on the road to 10K. Also, make sure to support us both because we are in the Snaps and Straps tournament.
Yeah.
Yes,
we are.
Battles. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little confusing because we've both been told apparently multiple things. I was told that it was a judging process, but then I'm also hearing reports that it's a voting process. I don't really know how the thing works. So if you're a fan of us, go and support us because there is no doubt in my mind. I'm not going to be humble here. We are the best two promos in the tournament. And it should be us in the finals. We're on opposite ends of the bracket. And if it comes down truly to who is the best promo, you and I should be in the finals.
I agree because the last I saw, the guy that's running the Snaps and Straps promo tournament, I think his Twitter or his Instagram is The Real Belt Collector.
Yeah.
Does that sound right? He said that it's him and a special guest judge. Those two guys will be determining who will be advancing in this tournament. Now,
into
my
the
first
quarterfinals.
Yeah, into the semifinals is the next round.
I thought there was a quarterfinal round. When I looked at the bracket, it looked like there was a quarterfinal and then a semifinal.
No. If we win this, we head to the semifinals, and then it's the final four, I guess. I'll have to go back and relook at the bracket, but my opponent is the Macho Verse. So if they went with votes, of course, he would probably beat me because he's got just so many more followers than I do.
You've been going back and forth with Macho Verse.
And honestly, Payton, I cut a promo in Chicago that I haven't released, and I don't know if I'm going to release it or not.
Do it. Go because full blown heel. You are. Hey, I went scorched earth on my opponent. That fucking the wrestle dud or whatever the hell he calls himself. So I say go for it.
We shall see. Stay tuned for that. But yes, go check out Payton's promo videos on his Stone Payne Productions TikTok and Instagram, and go look at mine as well on my WellsMania TikTok and WellsMania Instagram. Payton, thank you so much for running wild with me here on episode 187 of WellsMania Podcast. I would like to have you back for the Clash in Paris prediction show. So hopefully you can run wild on that episode. But I'm going to send you on your way, brother.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
I will see you guys. Wild. Peace out.
See you later on. Stone Payne Productions right there. That's my dude, Payton. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. We got a couple minutes here left to spare. Let me go ahead and get this spinner belt back on my shoulder. And yes, shout out and thank you again to the GOAT, the never seen 17, John Cena, for another incredible moment in memory that I will never forget. And stay tuned, because once my son gets here, I will upload and drop and release the video of John Cena welcoming my son to the world. That is very special. to me and John. Seriously, I can't thank you enough for doing that for me, my wife, and my son. So thank you all so much. And before I go, shout out to the Royal Fumble Fantasy Football League, because yours truly came up with this idea on TikTok Live to do a fantasy football league with fellow wrestling content creators. I'm talking about Sean, Ross, Sapp, yeah, Alan Owens, Vanessa Kearns, Patrick Kearns, Tony Gill, the Tribal Jester, the Mixed Tag, and I think that's it. I think I mentioned everybody that's in this fantasy football league. So I'm really excited. And the winner of this fantasy football league with fellow wrestling content creators gets a championship belt. So there could be another title going up against or going up on that wall as I beat everybody in the Royal Fumble. Shout out to Vanessa Kearns for that name of the league and the logo. But it was awesome getting you all together. We did our draft this past weekend. I've got another draft coming up this Friday with my boys, the Charlie Hustle Fantasy Football League. It's fantasy football season. So if you play fantasy football, good luck to you. Hopefully you draft the winning team. And I'll be having people on from the league, the other fellow wrestling content creators. They'll be running wild with me on future episodes, and we'll dive in from week to week to see how we're doing in this fantasy football league. So we got me, Sean Ross Sapp, Alan Owens, Vanessa Kearns, Patrick Kearns, Tribal Jester Matt, Brett, Tiffany, Tony, and who am I missing? Who's the other person that I'm missing in the fantasy football league? Why am I spacing? Why am I? You know what? I can't leave this episode without figuring out who I am forgetting right now. And I apologize. I apologize if I shouldn't be forgetting who you are unless I already said your name and I'm just driving myself crazy, which is always a possibility. Aiden Achong. That was not a rib, Aiden. Or was it? Hey, thank you all so much for running wild on this episode. Thank you to my special guest, Stone Payne Productions. Until next episode, take care, stay positive, run wild, and dominate the day.